Hi, I'm going to go through what we're doing at Preston Girls about literacy. We are starting a few things in the other areas as well, but we've been focusing first on literacy and foremost on literacy. Before we actually did this program, we actually were planning to focus on literacy anyway, and it was in our strategic plan, and we already had looked at some programs. So we're actually implementing 2 programs at the same time that complement each other, and I'm going to explain how we've done that. First of all, we all wanted to start, I don't know why it's doing that, we all wanted to start with the general view that every student can learn to read and write well, and we really want to believe that, and for our staff to believe that as a starting point. Our goal of the whole school literacy programs that we're running is to have all students on grade level within 3 years of implementing the program. I went to John Munro's session, we actually realised that we have a large group of students without basic decoding skills. They don't notice onset and rhyme. John Munro believes these are prerequisite skills, and Carol Christensen, who is the other program that we're already running as well, offers a program that teaches basic decoding skills. At our school, we're running both programs to ensure those without prerequisite skills are catered for. And this is just a table which we've done up, and I'm sure that John Munro wouldn't be happy with, or Carol Christensen, but we've compared their 2 programs because they both basically share all the same beliefs. They both believe that phonemic awareness is a prerequisite for effective reading. They both believe that oral language is a building block for written language. They both believe that you need to include visualising and access to brain images. They both believe that you need to focus on full sentences and practice them. And they both believe that you need to include self-talk and get students to self-talk. To start with, this year, we've focused on our Year 7s and Year 8s only, and we tested every single Year 7 and Year 8 with the Talk 3 test, which is a test of reading and comprehension. Based on the results, we put our students into groups, and they actually go to a special literacy program to teach sort of basic decoding skills to those that need it, 6 times a fortnight, so 3 times every week, and the sessions are 37 minutes long. If they scored between 0 to 34 in the talk test, they were put in a decoding group, which is basic learning letter sounds. If they got between 35 and 56, they were put in transition, which is an in-between group. If they got between 57 and 74 in that test, they were put in comprehension. And if they got between 75 and 95, they were put into critical literacy. What is decoding? Basically, written text is a code for spoken language, and to read, students must learn to crack the code or to decode. Spelling is the opposite process. Students must turn spoken language into written text or encode. And what it's like to not be able to decode. Now, basically, based on our talk test, a large proportion of our students didn't have basic decoding skills, which means that most of the text that we were showing them in classes looked like this to them. And we're asking them to read that. So now that we actually have isolated and found out all those students that can't actually use basic letter sounds, we've actually got them in groups where there's 6 students in a group, so they're very small groups, so that teachers have the chance to work with them closely. And we introduce letter sounds. Initially they are introduced to 6 letter sounds, and then 1 or 2 new sounds are introduced each lesson. They say the letter sounds after you say them, so we get everyone in the group to say them. And then they have to think of a letter starting with that, a word starting with that letter, or if it is a vowel, with that letter sound in the middle, or sometimes ending with that letter. Then we have some blending practice, and we have 4 new words per lesson, and a little spelling test to make sure they can spell the 4 new words. And then we read through the list where they actually have some practice, and we do a time trial. The purpose of the time trial is to try and encourage automaticity. We want them to be able to do them so easily that they can get at least 45 correct answers in 45 seconds. We then finish with either reading aloud, and either the students or the teacher read aloud in the groups.